I am concerned, but I'll do whatever I have to do to survive.
December's the first month where I've got that kind of nasty feeling inside.
There's a lot of fear and a lot of insecurity out there.
These are residents of Mount Airy, a historic neighborhood in northwest Philadelphia that's home to 30,000 people of all walks of life. The community's economic and racial diversity offer a glimpse into what Americans across the country are going through 9 months into the coronavirus pandemic. Residents here have lost their jobs. Dozens of businesses have scaled back hours or employees. And the city, like many others, recently put in place new restrictions.
My COVID anxiety level actually it's pretty high. And I mean, I'm very hopeful we're going to have a vaccine, but I'm very concerned about, the long-term economic impacts.
I traveled to this tight-knit community to speak to residents who are struggling with different hardships brought on by the same virus, to understand how they're navigating a new financial reality as they're forced to cope with the uncertainty that lies ahead.
Oh, dear Lord, time is getting hard.
Chris Marciel is a jazz musician. In a good month, he'd typically earn $3,000 or $4,000 playing in restaurants and bars and teaching piano lessons on the side.
Check 1, 2.
But this year, his income, along with the entire live music industry, has been crushed by the pandemic.
All my money's gone.
I'm good until the end of the month at this point and just floating by.
And then what?
I don't know. That's the challenge, I guess. That's the unknown factor.
You didn't have a traditional job in the sense that you couldn't get laid off or paid severance.
And that's something that's been a big problem because, booking myself, we all look months in advance. Normally, right now, I'm looking at June and July. Where am I working? I did my job security now, so I'm comfortable with bills and stuff then.
Now, how's your gig booking going?
It's not. With the way restrictions are coming and going, I'm finding out 2 days beforehand, oh, by the way, you're not working Thursday.
Like many Pennsylvanians, Chris collected an additional $600 a week in unemployment benefits through the federal Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. But those checks stopped in July. Even though he believes he's eligible for additional aid, he's had trouble filing claims online. The Pennsylvania Department of Labor said that it can't comment on individual cases, but that it notifies people when the status of their claims change and when payments are stopped or held for various reasons. Now that his savings have dwindled, Chris is worried he won't have enough to pay the mortgage for the new house he bought at the beginning of the year.
Just looking at the bank account and realizing, all right, when I pay A, B, and C, I got X left over. That's gotta be it. There's no known income for right now, and what few things I do have in the works before the end of the month, I can't guarantee they're gonna happen.
Chris stopped paying liability insurance earlier this year, and he says he uses small hacks to save money, like getting groceries from a local nonprofit that distributes produce. He hopes to receive more stimulus money and that a vaccine can help the restaurant and entertainment industries make a comeback. Yet his anxiety continues to grow. Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I want to. I do want to, because that's who I am as a person, but it's that I feel like it's getting farther away.
Chris gets his inexpensive produce from Jessica Wrights. She and her husband Nick Freeman are catering professionals who, like many Americans, chose to pivot after being laid off from their full-time jobs. What began as a mission to help their neighbors get produce at the beginning of the pandemic has turned into a full-blown nonprofit known as Mount Airy Groceries, which delivers low-cost and in most cases free boxes of food to people all over the city with the help of other organizations. Tell me about the need. What types of people are you serving?
There's a wide range of people that we serve. There are people that are newly food insecure because of COVID. There are people that are at home who are afraid to go to the grocery store because they're chronically ill. I will say that probably the largest population of people that we serve, however, are mothers at home with school-aged children.
They say their goal is to continue growing and serving their community, but they, like many of their neighbors, are feeling the stress of not having stable jobs.
I heard coronavirus one day, and then less than 2 weeks later, I was out of a job. And I think that was the case for millions of people in this country.
Nick received some unemployment benefits early in the pandemic and has since taken a part-time job. But 9 months in, with foster kids at home and bills that are piling up, they say they might have to make cuts, like selling a car and a cabin they bought earlier in the year.
Everything now, we are very, very carefully going through what's necessary or not.
Jessica and Nick are now trying to find a way to structure salaries into their nonprofit. Without a paycheck, Jessica says she'll have to take a job elsewhere, something she no longer wants to do, especially now that she's seen the food insecurity in her community.
Where are your COVID anxiety levels?
I think people can take a little bit of anxiety. You have that flight or fight response. Long-term, sustained worry and stress at some point, there's a breaking point. And unfortunately, I think for many of us, we're right about there.
I didn't expect this to happen. Everything is pretty shut down. I worry about my neighbors. I worry about my friends.
Dana Profit has been helping Jessica and Nick with their Mount Airy Groceries website. A copywriter who was laid off from her job of 10 years in August, she's been taking on side projects to enhance her portfolio. But applying for jobs at age 49 is something she never imagined she'd have to do.
What is it like to job search after being at a company for so long?
It's difficult. I had to relearn a lot of things. Every rejection or non-response that I receive is depressing. I get blue.
Is it hard to not take it personally?
Oh, I always take it personally.
You do?
Like, how can you not want me? I'm fabulous.
Dana started taking online classes in graphic design so she can ultimately become a one-stop shop for small businesses looking to start a website. So far, she's relied on severance and unemployment benefits to get by. But if she doesn't get additional stimulus money from Washington, she's worried about covering big expenses like health insurance, especially in the middle of a pandemic. Rent worries her too, though she says she's not getting evicted because her sister is her landlord.
You're in a position like many Americans where you are lucky to have a family,
Yes.
but you've said you don't want to lean on them too much.
No.
Why?
I don't want to drain their finances to help me. So I'd rather for us just to hold each other up rather than me climbing on their shoulders to survive. There's people to help me, but I'm going to try to pull myself up first.
But how long it will take Mount Airy's residents and Americans across the country to pull themselves up is still unknown. Despite a vaccine rollout across the U.S. and additional stimulus from Washington, these neighbors say they want to be optimistic, but the uncertainty that lies ahead is weighing on them.
Looking into 2021, are you concerned at all about your ability to pay your bills and meet your obligations?
If I have to work 4 jobs, I've done it before, I'll do it again. But just anything I have to do to keep the heat on, the lights on, and a roof over my head, and food on the table, I'll find a job and do it.